Hey, we are live. Hey, everybody. My name is Steve Moran. I'm here with my good friend Douglas Yates,
Hello,
the
hello.
BTC guru. And we're going to be here today talking all things Bitcoin, blockchain, and digital currencies. So let me see. Looks like a problem over here. No, we're still good. Okay.
We're still good?
We're still
We're
good.
broadcasting live to the world right now.
We're live to the world.
I love
So
it.
what's new and exciting in the world of Bitcoin today?
Hey, you know what? If you just, I don't know how you not know about Bitcoin right now. It's all over the news. Everybody's eyes are opening right now. The time is now. If you haven't jumped in already, you got to jump in now because the sense of urgency is actually increasing. And Visa is moving in heavily. MasterCard announced they're moving in heavily. PayPal, they announced last week they're moving in. You could pay and accept Bitcoin. Shopify and all those ones were already doing it. Now PayPal's catching up. All the major banks are putting part of their treasury in that. There's countries that are putting their treasury into Bitcoin. It's been based on what I've been reading. They predict this month, April, and this is not an April Fool's joke at all.
Right.
There's a $1 trillion ready to come into Bitcoin this month in the next 30 days. And there's only first of all, there's only a total of 21 million Bitcoins ever going to be made.
Right.
And by 2045 or something like that, I think the last one's going to be minted, mined. And so so right now they think there's about 16 million in circulation, being held. It's not in circulation. Circulation means people are selling it. There's nobody.
Right.
The selling right now is almost, I can't say it's zero because I don't have any facts for that, but it's very, very low. And I'll quote, there's a gentleman up in Canada who did one of the first EFTs, ETF. It's one of the things. I get that mixed up.
Right.
It's basically a fund that trades in Bitcoin, and he got it approved up in Canada. The U.S. SEC still, they're debating that right now, but they're going to probably, JP Morgan just put in their apps, and they're one of the biggest, so I'm sure it's going to happen soon. But he opened his fund in February, the beginning of February, and I watched his live interview. It was yesterday, and he has not had one sale. Like sold. It's only been buys.
Only buys, right?
Virtually unheard of in a fund. There's always he says, you always have to calculate even from day one or day two, that there's always about 8 to 12% of people just selling anyway.
Right.
In any fund. He says he's started many funds. This is the only fund, his Bitcoin fund, that he started that there's only inflows, no outflows. Blowing his mind.
It's going to be a long-term hold for a lot of people just because of the fact, like you said, it's not going to, the last Bitcoin won't be mined until about 2040. And that'll put 21 million out there. But, I think there's a lot, from what I understand, there's a couple million of them that are probably lost or misplaced. People lose wallets.
Some say up to 10%.
Wow, that's crazy. It's interesting. It's such a great time right now because there's so many people out there that don't even still know how to buy Bitcoin. They don't know what to even do to get it. And relate a story that I think is really interesting because, I was playing golf with a friend of mine here. It was about 11 months ago. And I've known him for 30 years. Okay. We've done a lot of business together, real successful, really, really sharp guy. And we played some golf and I happened to beat him that day. So I won a couple $100 and he's like, hey, let me send you a Venmo. And I'm like, wait a minute. I go, have you bought any Bitcoin yet? And he's like, no. I'm like, let's take care of that. So we went in the locker room, actually, and I had him download the Cash App. Cash App is really cool because you can actually, it allows you to be able to, transfer money directly to your bank and then go ahead and buy some Bitcoin right there. So I had him pay me what he owed me, obviously. And then I said, hey, Scott, buy $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. Just buy it right now, right? And so he just did. He went in, transferred the money from his bank, and he bought $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. And, Bitcoin back then was about $8,000.
Wow.
I mean, he's made literally 7 times his money, and it was the best bet he ever lost. That's for sure. But it's amazing. There's so many people out there, and then I played golf again with another kid who was 23 years old, and we started talking about Bitcoin. He's like, "Where do you buy it? How do you get that? How do you get it?" And, there's such a big opportunity out there right now for people to learn about this whole type of thing and stuff. So it's just some pretty exciting times, isn't it, Doug?
Oh, very, very exciting times. And it's getting easier and easier as time goes on to purchase Bitcoin. And we'll go into more of that. In fact, we have an opportunity that we stumbled across that we'll present to you that will helps train you, and you actually can get into Bitcoin. It shows you how to do that, and it shows you how to actually make money helping others learn about Bitcoin. It's an exciting opportunity. But I got a question for you, Steve. There's all this money supposedly coming in, over this next 30 days and on. Large corporations, countries, all coming into Bitcoin, which, supply and demand says that should do something with the price. And what are you thinking on that?
I really think we're going to bust through some highs here in the next 60 days. I think we're going to hit some real big highs. I still think by the end of the year, we're going to definitely be at 100,000 or more. Personally, as a matter of fact, I put together a little video here I'd like to share with everybody. It's, a lot of people out there are talking about the fact they think that one Bitcoin could be worth $1 million or more. So I thought I'd put together a little video here and kind of share some thoughts about that. So let me play this for you guys real quick. It's only about 4 minutes, but I think you guys will like it, and then we'll be back to talk about it afterwards. Hey everybody, my name's Steve Moran. On today's video, I'm going to show you why one Bitcoin will be worth $1 million or more one day in the not so distant future. In just 11 years, the price of one Bitcoin has risen from 8 cents to over $53,000. Bitcoin is still in its infancy. Only 1 out of every 28,000 people own a piece of a single Bitcoin. But as more and more people start to understand how big this is, the profits will be gargantuan. Experts like Jeremy Liu, billionaire investor in Snapchat, say Bitcoin will go to at least $500,000. PayPal board member Wences Caceres confirms that there's a higher than 50% chance that one Bitcoin will be worth $1 million or more. The biggest mistake is not to own any Bitcoin, he says. Even Bill Gates recently declared Bitcoin as better than currency. In short, we're looking at one of the most unique and rare money-making opportunities in history. As Chandler Go, famed angel investor, says, one is enough when Bitcoin becomes $1 million. Why is Bitcoin rocketing so high? Let me explain. The number one objection I hear when I talk about Bitcoin is it has no real value. Because it's a digital currency, some people believe it's less valuable than physical currency. I can understand the criticism. You can't hold a Bitcoin in your hand, and most people haven't owned or transacted in Bitcoin yet. It's new and misunderstood. And people are always skeptical about new innovations. Look what happened when the internet was first introduced. In February 1995, Business Review said the internet's just a fad. One day we'll look back at the doubters of Bitcoin and ask, how could they have been so blind? Because those who today believe Bitcoin is just a fad haven't really studied the situation closely enough. It's actually one of the most important inventions ever created. And it has real value. Most importantly, Bitcoin and other digital currencies cannot be controlled by reckless governments and banks. Think about the dollars in your pocket. The government prints as many as it wants, whenever it wants, always decreasing the value of your money. By comparison, digital currencies like Bitcoin have a strict limit on the creation of new coins. At the end of the day, there will only be 21 million Bitcoins, ever. So they can actually go up in value. Wouldn't it be nice if the dollars in your pocket or your bank actually went up in value? With digital currencies, that actually happens. Financial analyst Rick Falkvinge predicts a huge run from here. He says each Bitcoin should be worth $100,000 at the low market cap and $1 million at the high market cap. Some people say it's destined to go even higher. McAfee founder John McAfee calculates the price of Bitcoin at $2.43 million in 3 years. And Bitcoin expert Trace Meyer shows if you move just 1% of offshore cash into Bitcoin, you're looking at $2.8 million per Bitcoin. I repeat, that's $2.8 million for one single Bitcoin. Yet, more than 99% of investors are still sitting on the sidelines. And they're going to watch the few people who act immediately collect all the rewards. So, is Bitcoin going to be worth $1 million or more one day? I don't know. But here's an interesting fact. If you invested just $100 in Bitcoin in 2010, it would be worth more than $65 million today. People's lives are changing very quickly because of digital currency profits. Take Charles Sinclair. He was working a boring banking job when he decided to invest $7,000 in Bitcoin. Since then, I've made a little more than $300,000, he says. Now Charles has quit his banking job to start his own business. Or look at Marcus Andrews. In 2 years, he turned $300 into $80,000 and counting. Or take the story of Chris Hansen out of Norway. Back in 2009, he was writing a paper about new digital currencies. During his research, he discovered Bitcoin and bought just $27 worth. He promptly forgot about it and didn't even look at his account until years later. By then, his $27 investment had grown to $886,000. These are stories you don't see in any market except digital currencies. $27 would never give you the chance to be a near millionaire in the stock market. My belief is that everyone should own at least one Bitcoin because as the number one digital currency, it has a real chance to go to $1 million.
Wow.
What do you think?
That was impressive. Hey, you know what? I remember when I was first looking at Bitcoin, and something you said in there that, you know, it's going to go to $1 million. It's almost at 60, you know, right now it's at $59,000 for one Bitcoin.
Right.
And you're like, what, you know, that I remember thinking about it. I don't have $50,000. How am I going to get one Bitcoin? But you don't have to buy one whole one. You can buy pieces of it, right?
Right. Satoshis.
Yeah, Satoshis. Exactly. So
Right.
Just, you know, throw that thinking out of your head. And it's kind of why, you know, that's why Steve and I are here, is to provide education.
You can buy $5 at a time, $10 at a time, $100 at a time. You can buy partial pieces of it. Nobody's going to just come out there and just buy one full one at a time.
Yep.
But that's the opportunity. And Doug and I are going to be talking about different opportunities where you can actually be rewarded in Bitcoin and for helping share the knowledge, because, you know, the big market out there, guys, is, you know, I can tell you that information, the self-education business, okay, is a $330 million a day business that Forbes predicts is going to be $1 billion a day by 2025. Now think about it. You know, I've been self-educated my entire life. I've gone through top sales trainers. And when I talk self-education, what I'm talking about is that's not going to a school to get taught by somebody who's got an MBA or something like that. I'm talking about, you know, learning from somebody who's actually out in the field doing it. Okay. Being taught, you know, Tony Robbins has been a coach of mine for over 35 years. Okay. That's self-education. That's not going to college. That's going to Tony College. It's quite a bit different. But, you know, the thing about this is that there's just so many people, everybody that needs to know about this is already out of school, right?
Yep.
So where are they going to learn about it?
People like us, and from organizations like what you know, we're stumbling across. We're finding top-notch, high-class organizations backed by very smart people, very smart and successful business people that will help you, you know, help us as a group, you know, us Bitcoin owners as a group, share with others and learn more and more about Bitcoin and the power of it and how it's a real true value, a storage of wealth. It offsets inflation. You know, I'll give a quick little story that it reminded me when you're showing those people at the end of your video about what they accomplished. I mean, I'm right now living in an island called Balboa Island in Newport Beach, California, and the only reason why I'm here, it's probably one of the most expensive places in California that you can live. It's right up there with other ones, and the reason why I'm here is 100% Bitcoin. It's the reason why I get up every morning, and I'm experiencing the fruits of it right now. And the cool part is I'm living off of it, but I'm not selling it. That's a little secret, and we'll share how to do that later. But it's this opportunity. It could change your life if you have any desire to be financially free, if you have any desire to accumulate wealth, if you have any desire to grow your family's worth and provide for yourself and your next generation. There is no better place right now, and to give the freedom back to yourself, your financial freedom and the control of your finances back to yourself. Bitcoin is the only way to do that.
Well, people are going out there and they're working their asses off, going through this pandemic and working, and then they're getting paid in dollars, and the government just decides to go print another $1.9 trillion or whatever. And I can tell you over the last 12 months, since they've done these big infusions of cash with these pandemic, there's literally, they put 40% more money into our money supply than there ever was before. So all that does is make the dollars in our pocket worth less and less and less.
Exactly.
We got to start moving into this other world, guys. I mean, if you don't, we have to, and the only way we're going to do it is we have to learn. We have to, see what's going on out there. We have to share it with other people. We have to figure it all out, because the time they write books about this stuff, it's changed. Okay. Yeah. It changes really, really fast. But,
so here's the deal. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you want to know about Bitcoin. And so if you're watching right now, put, wherever you're watching it at, put down in the comments your questions, and we'll gather them up and we'll answer them. We do these shows multiple times a week, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Stay tuned for more and more information. And if you just catch the wave, and now's the time to do it. The time is now. Just like the video that Steve showed. Going to $1 million for one Bitcoin is in the very near future. So if you could buy a little piece of Bitcoin right now for 58,000, and it's going to go to $1 million, just do the math. That's your potential that you're buying into right now. You're everything in my world, everything's getting cheaper as time goes on. And my time, I work 40, 50 hours a week, and I get, a income for that. But that is, instead of shrinking, like Steve said, when they print more dollars, my buying power actually is getting bigger and bigger and bigger because of Bitcoin.
That's pretty insane, isn't it? Yeah, Doug and I are going to be here. We're going to try and be here 3 to 5 days a week. And so if you like the content, please share it, tell others about it. We're going to try and be back here. I think probably around 8 o'clock Pacific time is a good time to get started for us. So we'll be here consistently. So if you've got questions, come back here, and we'll try and be able to answer some of the questions live. I'll figure out how to set that up where we can actually access Facebook here from our StreamYard here and be able to answer any comments and stuff. But it's a great time to get involved in this business, guys, and to learn about it and see what's going on, because if you don't get caught up and learn about it, you're just going to get lost and kind of get trampled over here. It's going to be pretty exciting times for those who play in it.
It is. And one of the reasons why and Steve and I were talking, and, I wanted to do a podcast, and so did he. And we were like, hey, why don't we do it together? And, the more and more people that understand and participate in Bitcoin, it's us that give us the worth. It's our output.
We're the market makers.
The GDP of the people of not just the United States, but it's all over the world, is what brings value, real value, because it's us into Bitcoin. And that's why the price goes up. There's this whole supply and demand type of thing, and it's a great storage of wealth and all that good stuff that we go over and will continue to go over. It is a great benefits, but the more people that get educated, which is what we're here doing, and we want you to get educated, and we want you to tell your friends to get educated, because it gives us all the power and gives the freedom back to us, instead of somebody else controlling our financial future.
Yeah, time to take our lives back, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, 2020 they held us hostage. Now it's time to get out and let's go to work and make something happen here in 2021.
Yes.
All right, guys, it was fun. We will be back and probably see you again tomorrow. Thanks, Doug.
Take care.